Welcome everyone to Doing Time, episode 2. We got Paranoah in the building.
Yo, what's happening, yo?
Welcome.
In the building.
Mhm.
Got Mr. Anthony Gonzalez in the building. I know how everyone loves that in the building.
And it just feels good, you know what I'm saying? It just feels
Right. It just works.
makes you feel at home. Yeah.
For real. How fellas doing tonight?
What's
We
up,
good?
y'all?
Chilling, man.
Yeah, word.
Feeling good, man. Feeling real good.
So, Mr. Paranoah, what you got going on?
Mr. Paranoah.
Mr. Paranoah.
Oh man. Well, tons of albums, too many albums at once. Just lyrics scattered amongst the room, random bars everywhere. No, man, this past week actually, I'm actually preparing for a battle I have on the 7th. So I've been just like going over that and wrapping at inanimate objects in my room, getting ready for that. So it's been a fun journey. Yeah.
Been hitting a lot of ciphers and all that recently, I see.
Oh yeah, I've been jumping in random ones. I kind of like to I used to be like only like a cipher rapper. Like I would just show up and just like freestyle about things I saw. Like, oh, he has a shirt with stripes, and I rhyme as many lines as that, or like that type of shit. But now I kind of pop in to just like test out like certain punchlines maybe I'm working on, or like schemes. Kind of like how like a stand-up comic will test the stuff on like an interview or something like that.
Exactly.
I think there's a lot of actually parallels between stand-up comedy and hip-hop for that reason, as far as like the performance and reading the crowd and reacting and stuff like that.
Right, like so much. Like I think people don't even like realize how parallel it is. Like even to like the open mic scene and like just ways things are structured. I don't know, like the unfilteredness of it, I guess.
Yeah, how quickly the crowd, everything.
No, the whole thing. I'm like, yeah, punchline setup. It's like a very similar world.
Now, if anybody's been really following you on your Facebook, they know that you've been getting around a lot. You've been playing a ton of shows. You're everywhere. You're on our bills.
All over the bills, man. All over.
How's it feel post-COVID?
I enjoy coughing on people again. And breathing in each other's oxygen and spreading pathogens and being a filthy bastard, but no, it's good. I enjoy seeing, like, as time goes on, especially the past like couple shows I've done, like seeing the crowds get like bigger and bigger, but like it's gradual, but you can see it, and you see people are like just kind of like, I don't know, they're excited to be out. I think the fact that people were inside song and gave them more time to like sit down and think and listen. So now I think like when people are coming to live shows, and especially like a Hip Hop Lifers one, I think like people are listening for bars more,
Right. Yeah, exactly. We're not just there just to be hanging outside or hanging by the bar. We're listening to the bars.
Right.
Most definitely.
Now with I've seen you firsthand rip it up, go wild, hit yourself in the head, bleed, sweat.
Oh, that was your first time seeing me?
Yeah, definitely was my first time. That was dope.
Word.
Now, you bring in that energy every single time. How do you do it?
I would say because I stay. Well, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm searching for a word here. I really give a fuck, and like before I go on stage, I'm still like nervous, like I still have those feelings of like, oh, like let me make sure I, remember this bar. I don't like start off the song wrong. Like, I still get those feelings, and the fact I'm like still nervous kind of puts me in this like back against the ropes position. So like before I get on stage, I'm like, well, I'm gonna be up there, so I might as well just like just fucking tear it down, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's
And
worth
again,
it.
seeing people excited about hip hop again gets me excited about it again, you know? I mean, there's a lot of good shit out there right now. It's nice, you know?
There's a ton of artists everywhere, all across the country, all across the world, and we get to see a lot of it, and we get to see a lot of it grow, and that's pretty dope. Between like you and Speak and Weapon and all these other cats out there that are just blowing up and going crazy. Y'all got anything you want to ask Mr. Noah?
I was looking through the chat and seeing if anyone had anything to say. Looks like someone said, I got that pulled up on the screen, but it doesn't let us see who's on Facebook, unfortunately.
An anonymous Facebook user. I hope it's Mark Zuckerberg, you motherfucker.
Here we go. We're all getting bounced now.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, man.
We're about to get Zuck.
Yeah, we'll all be in the Zuckerberg penitentiary.
Are we in the metaverse right now?
Yeah, which pill you're gonna take, the red or the blue one to get it.
It depends on which me you're talking to. If you're talking to the college me, I'm taking both of them.
There you go.
Fuck it, what do these do? Yeah.
We used to play a game called Name That Pill.
Oh, shit.
Basically, people hand you a pill and then you take it, and then 45 minutes later you tell them what it did to you.
Pink room sessions.
Pink room sessions. It's fire.
Now,
I know something I want to bring up. You mentioned a backstory to the track Jump Rabbit. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned that
Oh.
earlier.
Oh man, so this one. Sometimes I go into it. Sometimes the live shows and like people like don't believe that it's like a real story, but like it is. Oh, it's Speak. Hold on, I just saw the comment pop up. The anonymous user is Speak. Oh, you sketchy man. Love you, bro. Okay, so Jump Rabbit. It happened during quarantine. I mean, when you listen to it, it sounds it's very claustrophobic. It's very head kind of song. Like you have to sit there, like, what the fuck is he talking about, kind of thing. Anyways, it was during quarantine, and I think I was driving to like Outback Steakhouse to get like a blooming onion, like way too late at night. So like I was driving off my back road, and I looked at my phone to like text one of my friends back, and while I was texting and driving, I hit a rabbit on the road. So I've always, like, ever since a little kid, like, was into like taxidermy and like roadkill and shit. So I was like, wait a second, like this looks really cool. So like I got out of my car, and the cover art for Jump Rabbit is the actual rabbit that I fucking hit.
Oh damn!
And so
Wow.
So I turned the high beams on my car for some professional lighting, and I got a picture of this rabbit, and I'm like, man, this would be so cool for like a cover art. Like, man, like what the hell could this even like be about if it was a song? And so I was thinking of like the symbolism of a rabbit throughout history, whether it's Jesus, whether it's the idea of consciousness is like represented with the rabbit. And then I was thinking about the Matrix and like follow the white rabbit down the rabbit hole. It went into this spiral of fucking thoughts. And so basically the song is really like about the death of consciousness and also our internet age, like of just the slow dumbing down and like numbing of the masses and kind of like hive mind mentality. So that's what the song's like really about. but yeah, it was a real rabbit.
Really enjoy it. I love like real introspective, like conscious type shit like that.
Right. Like I had some people tell me like, oh, this sounds like an Aesop kind of thing, or like you know. So it's yeah, it was fun. It was fun, right? It was really like a fast process to like write it. Like once I like got the idea locked in my head that I was gonna be like rapping about the death of consciousness and then like the internet world, but put into nature. So like the first verse, like there's a part where it's like I Goldilocks her in, like show me all your skin, bitch. The cropping and Photoshop begins, and then Little men addicted to porridge with unlimited portions, glisten in forks, isn't it gorgeous? Enter the internet forest, right?
Right.
And so, like, when I thought like Lil men addicted to porridge, I thought of every rapper that goes by Lil, and then like also like they're like rapping about cough syrup and fucking Xanny. So I was like, oh, they're addicted to their porridge. So it's like this whole metaphor the whole time.
Oh, that's dope. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's real dope. It's funny. That was actually the song that I was listening to before we jumped on, because I've heard a couple of tracks, but I hadn't heard that one, and I was like, oh, let me check this out. And the first thing I thought was that it was like very Aesop-esque.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Like your rhyme schemes, the beat, just everything that was happening, and especially the album cover, and now to know about why that it's literally a dead rabbit that you killed is, I mean, that's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, I have a friend who his story was he hit a rabbit on Easter Sunday and killed it.
Oh shit!
And he called the cops, and the cops came. They were like, you know, what are you calling about a rabbit for? You know what I mean? It's like, it's a rabbit. And he's like, you don't understand. It's Easter, you know, this whole thing. He may or may not have had some hallucinogenics in him, allegedly. And he also allegedly may have had a warrant that he didn't know about. So when the cops came to check out for this dead rabbit, they wound up taking him to jail.
That sucks.
So yeah, so he basically called the cops on himself.
Right. That's one unlucky rabbit.
Wow. Fucking happy
real.
Easter. That sucks.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
What's your process with writing across the board? Do you always think that deeply into it, or does some shit just come at you?
That's a good question, because like some days like I wake up and I just feel like talking shit, you know, or like sometimes I wake up or I'll just think of random like punchlines, like kind of like throughout the day. If I'm like walking down the street, I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm just like looking at words on like billboards and like I'm thinking of ways I could like find punchlines and like bend words around, like all like. So that's how like writing will come if it's like a punchline style thing. Yeah, I used to write like without beats, but like now it's more so my process is like I hear a beat and then I'm thinking like, okay, like what mood does this give me? Like how should I like use my voice over this sound? So then I start thinking of mood, and then I start like listening to any other instruments in it, and I'm like, okay, does this even need a hook, or like what happens here? Then from that point on, I'm thinking about the punchline I'm gonna end the song with, or end the verse with, and then I'll try to think of my first punchline after that, so I could top the last one.
Right.
And then I kind of go from there. It's kind of convoluted. It's a weird structure. I still write in notebooks and shit. I'm definitely a notebook writer for sure.
That's cool.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I'm a note taker myself, so I take massive amounts of notes.
Yeah, I always have to take notes, and I have different notebooks for different like categories in my mind that I'll have. Some of them will just be like a notebook of like all concepts and like random stories and stream of thought. Then I'll have another notebook that's all just punchlines, one that's all multi-syllables, you know, shit like that.
That's crazy. Organized.
Yeah, it's you know, shout out to Pharaoh Monch. It's organized confusion. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, organized mess.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna roll into a little something we call "What's Your Issue?" Could be anything, anything
Hey,
in the
what's
world.
your problem, guy? What's your problem?
Exactly. What's your fucking problem, huh?
What the fuck are you looking at, dude? Meet me at the fucking Encore. Let's go. Okay. This one's always fun because just negativity is fucking great. We thrive off it. Let's talk about.
Let it out.
Yeah. All right. I'll have to break this up into two things because there's things that like annoy me that have nothing like it doesn't affect me at all, and then I have like stuff that's more like deeply like I guess like rooted that does. Okay, so something that doesn't really affect me that's really fucking annoying that I don't understand is, and it didn't happen at all at a Lifer show. Well, that's because there was actually all dope rappers. But I'll go to shows and people are rapping over their vocals. I can't.
Yeah, no.
I can't fucking do it, man. I don't get it. It's like the only genre where like this shit could really fly, unless if you're like Britney Spears with like a headset on, like lip syncing shit.
Yeah,
You know,
where she's like dancing and stuff. She has that excuse. But what's these people's excuse? Why are they rapping with their own vocals? It's like the equivalent of like lip syncing in hip hop.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't get it. And like sometimes people will be like, oh, like I do it so people could hear my voice. But I'm like, what happened to vocal projection? And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Like, we're only rapping too. Like, we could, I don't know. Like, we're not hitting Mariah Carey notes or shit, you know?
Right.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's a big one. Just from an audience perspective, you know, where I'm just like, it's annoying to hear because I could go to any other show in any other genre and there won't be that.
That's the reason I've seen more turntablists and DJs than I've seen MCs, because too many MCs do that and I can't stand it. So I just don't go to as many shows as I'd like.
But yeah, it scares me away from it sometimes. I'm like, damn, like I don't want to like. I love supporting local shit, but like sometimes it's like you don't know what you're gonna get into, you know. And it's, you know, a lot of people on stage doing these movements and you know, same feet. Oh man, so that's something that you know doesn't directly affect me, but is annoying.
No one's allowed to rap over their vocals at our shows. You get the boot.
That's
you shouldn't be allowed to do that at anybody's shows.
Right.
I agree. Like that's probably if I paid for a show and the MC was rapping over their vocals, I probably would ask for my money back and then leave.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I just like I think it really exposed it, like with that whole Dipset and Locks versus.
Right.
Because, like, you know what I mean? Like I mean, I know we were all. It's not like something that the people weren't talking about previously, but that I think, you know, because it was on the grand scale, I think that really exposed the people for doing that kind of crap. And I mean, it's like you said, it like you're rapping over music. Like there's only really two things happening, and now you're adding a third to stop one.
Right, no,
it doesn't make sense.
From like
Like,
the recording detracts from the live performance. Like it goes both ways. It makes it just all around worse. Like if I'm gonna
like if you had laryngitis or something, then I understand. You know what I mean? Like,
fucking laryngitis. Dude, that's a good fucking point though. You broke it down like numerically too. Like I was like that. I was like, damn, that made a lot of sense. I was like, yeah, like there's. Yeah, that Dipset shit was beautiful when that happened. I had a hip hop tear go down my cheek. Like it was, it was a moment.
Yeah, for real. Man. That was. I mean, and then the Kane and KRS one. That was.
Ooh.
Yeah, man, that was good stuff. And now I hear I guess they're talking about it's Cypress Hill and what Onyx is the next one.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. So that should be pretty. That should be pretty dope. I mean, I don't know. Like, I know everybody. I mean, I love Onyx and Cypress, but for me, like, it would be Cypress no matter what because I just have such an affinity for them.
Right. And they have so many. Like, I don't know. Like, they hit so many. Not that Onyx isn't diverse, but like Cypress hits so many different notes for me. Whereas when I want to listen to Onyx, it's mad face. I'm just like I'm in the car. And I'm just fucking like nodding my head out of control. And
when your boss pisses you off type shit.
Yeah, and you want to throw a pallet at him or something, you know?
Right, exactly. You said the Primo and Rizzo was and will be the best one. Nostalgia. Don't know who it is. I don't know why we're not seeing who these people are.
Oh, because on certain pages, like since the Facebook page is private,
Yeah.
they won't show the names of them unless it'll show if they go on the fan page or the YouTube channel. But if they go, it's anonymous.
Yeah, no doubt.
Privacy.
So, no, what's your other issue?
Oh shit! Oh yeah, the other issue. Okay, so my biggest one, and I think this is like, it's also like outer reaching too, and I want to preface it with like, I think a lot of it is in the younger crowd, more so the older crowd that kind of pushes this, but I think my biggest issue is like at ciphers and at certain shows, and at certain venues, there's like this. I can't stand like politically correct shit, and like there's like I feel like sometimes I go to ciphers and I'll say a certain line, and like someone gets really fucking like offended, and like. I don't know. It's like, and sometimes I've had mics get turned off on me. Like I pulled up at like ciphers and like I've said a line and like, oh yo, we don't say that here, or like it's just like I don't know. People are fucking just too. I don't know what it is. I really don't know where it comes from because like hip hop for me was always like I don't know. Like I grew up listening to like a lot of like Redman and like I gravitated towards like of course the old. Eminem and just Wu-Tang and just I don't know, people just said shit to say it and it wasn't like this kind of thing where the censorship. I don't fuck with censorship. That's my big thing. And like there was
context into account anymore.
Right. And there's
anything.
Yeah, people just lose the context of it, and it's also like there's this kind of notion too at some of these like showcases that like conscious rap is just inherently better or more valuable or content wise more dense than I don't know like something like that's more I guess you could call like shock value, or like sometimes I'll get put in like that shock value like horrorcore like category, but it's like yeah, I always like tell people like if you don't like something I say in a cipher, then like battle me, and like let's have like the discussion, like on the mic, like let's discuss it,
Right.
I'd rather have that than have like my mic turned off or be like kicked out of somewhere because like they're like, oh, like you can't have misogynistic lyrics or like like and shit like that. And sometimes I'm just freestyling and bullshit, and like man, hip hop's supposed to be fucking unfiltered in my mind, so I think that but one of the most recent ciphers I had actually had somebody decide to just battle me, and I respected it more than just being shut off,
Right.
Yeah, right.
It's because I was freestyling and going at this one dude, and I said something about him, like something about like what he was wearing, and I basically said he was dressed like a dyke. Right, that was the line I had, and then like out of the corner of my eye, like this lesbian chick comes up and starts rapping at me. She's like, "Yo, all right, let's go. Let's like have like this battle." And it ended up. And here's the thing too: like most people would kind of like at first sight, especially in this day and age, would be like, "Oh my god, that's such a hostile." Like situation, like that's like people get like really, but it ended up being like one of the funniest like entertaining things. Like everyone was like laughing in the crowd. Me and this girl were like roasting each other. I was talking about hitting her with fucking dildos, and she was talking about like I'm gonna probably transition in 2 years. Like she was just she just so I get more likes on my shit, or like we were just saying like the most funny, like it was like a comedy roast, know. And like when people just let the moment happen, I think some good shit comes out of it, and the conversations are good,
There's that parallel with comedy again, though, too, because like the cancel culture, like what they tried to do to Dave Chappelle and all that, it's like same thing. There's no room for all that in hip hop or comedy. No room.
Right.
People are there to see hip hop or comedy, and it should be implied that like what's said there isn't really like supposed to be taken like in that way. Like I don't know how to really.
It's
Right,
supposed to be taken.
it's like gangster rap, you know. It's like
Yeah, it's supposed
they're
to be
not all
taken in
rolling down the
jest.
street killing everybody.
Right.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's not literal, you know. Not everyone's out here running over rabbits, you know.
right, just you. Did you keep the rabbit?
I really wanted to because I was like, oh, like I could like preserve it or like try to taxidermy it and then like bring it on stage one day and like really like freak people out and pull like an Ozzy Osbourne or some shit with it.
Right.
But I didn't have like proper like gloves at the time, and it was like I already fucked it up too. So like after I even hit the rabbit, like I took like a stick and I moved its intestines like around on the road so it could like I like staged the shot with its guts.
That's fucked up.
It's a fun time. Try to do all my cover art this way from now on.
Right? Just go riding around the woods looking for animals.
Looking for roadkill.
Yeah.
There we go. There's a new name for a song, Roadkill Cafe.
Whoa, Roadkill Cafe, that's fire. Yeah. I'll credit you. I'll credit you. Now my mind's going. It's the
That's
sequel.
awesome.
Oh, that's good, bro.
That's amazing.
Grab a notebook. We're gonna move on to our apocalypse pack. We pick four albums, 4 different genres to take with you if you're on a desert island, end of the world. The only 4 you can have. If you want to go first, last, we can go around the table.
Yeah, I'll let y'all go first on this one.
All right, Moose, you want to go first?
Sure, yeah, because I had already kind of like been thinking about it when we talked about it earlier. So for me, it would be Miles Davis' Bitches Brew. Because that album just means so much, and it's a double. So I mean, you know, you figure you get more to love. The next album would be Jim Morrison and American Prayer, because that also meant a whole lot to me, especially, you know, when, you know, allegedly I was, you know, taking some hallucinogenics. And it's just one of those albums that always just meant so much to me. Next album is going to be Beastie Boys' Paul's Boutique, because it's utter perfection. Yeah. Even though today is the 30th anniversary of Check Your Head, Paul's Boutique just means so much more to me. And my last one was Bob Marley Legend, because it's literally just the best of Bob Marley, and how could you go wrong?
That was on my list.
An honorable mention was The Chronic by Dr. Dre, because I mean it just, you know, it's just an amazing album.
Yeah, it changed. Yeah.
I mean, it brought West Coast rap to boom bap. I mean, it just did.
And it brought it more into the mainstream, like,
for sure.
I think The Chronic probably brought it more into the mainstream than any other hip hop album before it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Anthony, you're up.
Okay. So I went with Portishead, the album Dummy.
Woo!
So
That's a good album.
So much. It's helped me get through so many hard times, to like, you know, messed up breakups, through heroin addiction, all sorts of stuff. It's just always been there for me. Whenever I'm feeling like something real depressing or something, I throw that on and it just kind of jam out.
Oh, it's a beautiful album.
And then I picked Pharaoh Monk, 13, a Magnificent Day for an Exorcism. I just love like that kind of jazz and blues sound mixed with and rock sound mixed with hip hop. And as usual, Pharaoh just brings the heat to the mic like every single time. His writing is just impeccable. Let's see. And I picked DJ IQ. That's Ingenious Methods, Volume 1. That's like a hip step drum and bass and jungle album. It's like jungle is like the thing I love pretty much as much as hip hop, and so hip step being a combination of the two is probably like the greatest thing for me when I'm wanting something like faster paced. And then last I picked Violent Femmes, the self-titled album, and that one I don't know, they're amazing. I remember hearing them on the radio the first time I hit the record button on my cassette tape, and then sat there and memorized the first song I heard by them, like after playing it over and over and over again. And then from then on, I was a fan.
There you go. I'm gonna go with. I had to write mine down because I have to write everything down.
I had to write mine.
I'm going with Bad Brain self-titled album because why not? You know, it's angry and get you in that mood.
No, when I'm looking for some like heavy punk, like hardcore type stuff, that's like my top pick. I love them.
Yeah. Tom Petty, Wildflowers, because that's an excellent album. I think that's probably top 5 rock albums ever.
Easy.
Metal, I'm going with Pantera, Cowboys from Hell, because another one that'll get you really going.
Still has
I was gonna go with Bob Marley, Legend, but he stole it on me. So I'm gonna go grunge. I'm gonna go with Nirvana Unplugged. That was an excellent. If you actually saw it, I mean, I know a couple of y'all saw it. I know Noah didn't see that shit. He's too young for that. But that was excellent when it was live.
Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was excellent.
Oh yeah, no.
No, you up?
All right, I'll start off with one of the first records like I found in my house growing up, which is Isaac Hayes' Black Moses.
Nice.
I can literally just keep fucking. I still have the vinyl for that, and I don't know, man. Every time I put that on, I go to a million places. It feels like REM sleep, but I'm like awake. That's the best way to describe it. Second album, we're gonna go into the black metal genre, and we're gonna go with Death Crush by Mayhem, or some people call Chainsaw Gutfuck, but I think Death Crush is the actual name of it. But that album is talking about an angry album just from start to finish. Like you just put it on and like my hands start like getting like just jittering on them, like I start getting those little like angry sweats that start at like the top of the temple, and it just great rage out album. Let's see next, and I had the singer Dead's vocals on it before he committed suicide, so that was like I think like the last project that like his vocals were on. So that it's a heavy listen in a lot of different ways. Let's see, hip hop genre. I'm gonna go with Rhyme Asylum, Solitary Confinement. I don't know have you guys listened to Rhyme Asylum before?
I've heard it, bits and pieces.
Oh man, okay. So Solitary Confinement, an album that's like worth your time, that will take you like somewhere else that you like. The best way to describe them, it's in my opinion, they're the best rappers to ever come out of the UK. Like the best to ever come out of there. The production on it is crazy. They're lyrically, they're like if you took Cannabis's like over the top punchline style, like talking about like flying around the planet 3 times and not having to refuel on his jet, or like moonwalking onto the sun, or the stuff Cannabis raps about. Right. These guys do that, but they do it in like this kind of like psych ward kind of environment. It's very horror movie and like old video game influenced.
Oh, nice.
It's some incredible shit. I'm trying to think like an example of a punchline that like one of them says that where it gets out over the top. One dude, he said, "Thief in the night, fangs in your jugular, bleeding you dry. I live in a glass house throwing meteorites. Appease the gods in the previous life, and I'll slice the throat of Sweeney Todd for my piece of the pie." And that's like how one song just like opens like that. Like it's, and also they kind of give like their, like, I don't know, hip hop, like a lot of time, like I'll listen to it because it takes me somewhere, it takes me into someone's life. And I feel like UK hip hop, there hasn't been an album that's taken me to like, okay, what is London like? Like, what is, like, how am I, like, there hasn't been like a UK album where I feel like I'm listening to London. if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like when you put
Yeah, it
on like
does.
Illmatic, you feel like you're in like New York, you're in fucking
Right.
Queens, you know.
Mhm.
But these guys like just they bring you into love, and they talk about being like poor in London and shit. It's like, dude, it's great. I ranted a lot on that album because I'm very passionate about that one. My last album pick was Bad Brains, their self-titled fucking album.
There
But
you
you
go.
had that shit. You
There
had
you
that
go.
shit too. So let's see. I'm gonna replace Bad Brains with fuck. I had the title written down, but anyway, G.G. Allen's first album.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll go with that. It was either that or like Misfits on Mars and shit. But yeah, that is my list.
That's dope. Dope list, fellas.
Oh, dope.
But man, yeah, that Bad Brains album, dude, holy shit, man. My uncle put me onto that when I was a kid.
Mm.
Like, dude, like, this his voice, like, HR is so, like,
Mhm.
I'm inspired a lot about, like, that era of punk where it was just so unhinged, like, and, like, vocally, it was just, he was everywhere, man. Like, he just,
Right.
so many different flavors on that one album. I mean, it's just incredible. Never heard anything like it.
You can definitely see the influence, the punk influence in you.
Mhm.
Like when you perform, I can see
Yeah.
it. You know, it's everything about you too. It's like you got this punk hip hop like mashed up thing going on,
Does even
like
me.
the hip hop taxidermist. You know, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Right.
Hip hop taxidermy.
That's you.
Like
But-
even like a hook of White Rabbit or Jump Rabbit. Sorry.
Right.
That one's got you doing almost like a kind of metal like scream on the hook.
Right, yeah, and at that time I was listening to like so much like metal shit too. Like I was listening to so many like black metal albums during quarantine. So like when I did that hook, I'm like, oh, let me see if I could go back into my screaming shit, you know?
Right. Well, we're gonna move on to our topic of the day, and I was thinking about it as we were all talking, and the local artist, like being called a local artist or independent artist. I don't think we can use the word local anymore because of the internet. It's not localized anymore. We're still regions. New England, because everybody has their own flavor. Like you said,
Right.
you listen to Nas, you hear New York. You listen to Outkast, you hear Atlanta. You know, so how do you feel about that term? Just being called local.
I think that was a really good point of like it's hard to call things local anymore because like the internet it's like a world within itself, really.
Exactly. But it's a small world. It's a very small world, but it's a huge world at the same time.
Right. Yeah, no, okay, that's what's weird. It's like there's certain like pockets, for example, that you could see where it's all spider webbed together. Like if you were to look up a certain kind of hip hop, like if you were to like go into like Griselda, then you would find Stove God Cooks, then you would find like, you know, you would go 38 Special, you would,
Right.
you know, and then you would just, I don't know, like it's so much easier to find now. Like you don't have to like search for albums. So I mean, anyone could find you from anywhere. I know like a lot of my followers are like from like the UK just because I put ads on some song and it reached like them. So
Right.
you know, it's kind of weird, like the reach, you know.
Love about the modern age of hip hop is that accessibility.
Right. Yeah, I remember finding so many albums. Like I don't know, most of the albums I got were I would take like my paycheck and I would spend most of it at like Bull Moose, which was this music store in New Hampshire. And I literally was just like so fucking obsessed. I started from A and like went to Z in the hip hop section just so I just wanted to fucking hear everything. You know? So that's how I discovered shit before. Or I'd look at the back of the CD and be like, oh, who's this feature on here? Let's see if he has an album on this shelf. And like that's how I discover it. In terms of like being called it, I like, you know, I don't mind being called like independent or like underground or like, you know, I think I kind of miss like hip hop being a little more like sacred, a little more like special or harder to find.
Right.
You know, so I kind of, you know, I don't know, the idea of like the spotlight or being like super like known or like going viral has never been like appealing to me.
Right.
So I think yeah, I'll take independent artists, but yeah, I think you're right about the local thing for sure.
Yeah, the internet is just exploded, and so it's made everything else explode around it and made it too accessible. And I think there's too much coming out, and every week there's it's too much to consume. I have stuff that I haven't listened to from last year. You know, it's so hard to try to catch up to everything. It's crazy the amount of music that just comes out and but the quality isn't there either.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's why a lot of people, and I think it's like working is like not just with Griselda, but a lot of other just independent guys. Like the songs, there's some songs that are like 1 minute and 30 seconds long, 1:50, like
Right.
2-minute long songs. Actually, like Mad Villain. I think MF Doom. I think short songs are like Madlib. But anyways, I think like shorter songs now. Like I even like making because there's so much stuff. Like how do I get people's attention or to listen?
Well, that's what it is. It's the attention span. The same thing with like YouTube content. You know, everything has to be 10 minutes on YouTube or less, or no one's going to pay attention to it, and they're just going to move on. You put up a half-hour video. Who's watching the half-hour video? You know, I'm not. I'm clicking past that shit. I'm trying to find the 12-minute version of that same video.
Right. Yeah, not unless I'm building
it. Is what it is. Yeah, right. It's like, come on, you know. But the internet's a funny place.
Yeah, the internet's interesting too, because like there's people that just blow up on TikTok, for example.
Right.
And there's even some cats that are actually like lyrical as fuck and make ill shit, and they only have TikTok. Like they only put their videos on TikTok. It's insane.
It's like how like I don't understand it, but they do it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
From what I understand, TikTok's good about getting views on like a single video post, but not for the channel itself or whatever. So it'll go viral, but then you might get like no views on any of the other content on your channel. And that's one of the it's like kind of the upside and the downside of TikTok, supposedly, from what I've read.
That's interesting. Okay, that makes sense. So
that's why I think
that's good to know.
Videos to try to get one that takes off.
Well, now every other platform is doing their own kind of TikTok. You got Reels and whatever the hell YouTube is doing. Everything's going to be a 30-second thing. So now people are going to have to make songs out of 30 seconds, bro. 30 seconds and out. You got to be in and out. 8 bars, get it over with.
Yeah, the rap god, that shit. I summoned the loop and I come up with it.
Yeah, exactly. Just get it over with, get in the booth, get out. You know, make a whole album that's 5 minutes long, and you're good. You know?
The album's like Tang, the whole song, like the sound in it.
It sounds like they need to have TikTok for porn.
Yeah,
they probably do.
They probably do.
They probably do. It's probably Dick Talk or something like that.
Or a fucking Snapchat.
Porn is the first thing that takes over everything. So,
yo, wait a second. This is a fire idea. Hold on.
Oh shit, we're building.
Fuck it. I quit rap. That's why I'm doing this shit now. Yo. So like if it was like a 30-second porn, this could be like there could be a whole new wave of porn stars of dudes that can't last long. You know what I'm saying? So like yo, there'll be this whole new fucking porn market like open up and everyone will feel like included. You know?
Right. There you go. No one's feelings are hurt, no one's offended. It's all good. It's all PC porn.
Yeah, it's PC porn. PC porn before it crashed your PC. Boom.
Right. There you go. We're millionaires. Shit. Sell it to Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely will. Fucking plug into the metaverse or whatever the hell's going on.
Time to plug whatever you need to plug, my friend.
Oh shit!
Just rattle it all off.
That was an interesting follow up because we're just talking about porn and then you said plug.
Yeah,
I was
plug
like,
See? Word association.
Bars. All right, let's see. If you want to follow me on social media, if you're in the mood, it's para_Noah at on everything. I put a lot of weird shit on my Instagram. Shout out J Plus for producing Jump Rabbit and a bunch of other songs I have coming out. I got a battle on May 7th, Hustle Killer in Malden. If you want to see me take a rapper's head off and soccer kick it across the room, come in there and watch that. It's also a great little venue. There's going to be a lot of heads out there, some performances. It's going to be a dope night. And last but not least, I got an album dropping June, July, called Calmly Manic. It's me and King Gordy.
Yep.
For 6 songs. So it's a small little project, but it is one of the most unhinged, just disgusting, foul, gross albums you'll listen to in a long time. We just don't hold back on any song. There's weird concepts. If you heard anything like that King Gordy did with like Bizarre, or like Justin Bieber, or like songs like that, like it's some grimy, old school, like Ghetto Boy style, like horrorcore shit.
All right.
Yeah.
Dope. We can catch you at Death to the Speakers, Sammy's Patio, Revere, May 13th. You're going to be at the Opus on June 10th with us.
That's right.
The Salem Massacre. It's going to be dope. Anyone watching, get your tickets.
Yeah, I'm excited
May 13th.
I might bring my own mic too. See, I got this one with Tinkerbell tape on it.
There you go.
And it's because I smashed off my head while I'm rehearsing.
Yeah, you can't be breaking anybody's mics, man.
Yeah.
That was during Run Rabbit. He fucking smacked his head, fucking bled all over. I'm like, look at this guy. I'm like, yeah, he's dope.
It was funny. My mom was in the crowd too. I was like, yeah, come out to the show. I didn't even know I was going to smash it off my head, but sometimes I get in the mood. And she's like, yeah, I wanted to like walk up and like fix your forehead, but like you're rapping and like your friends will laugh at you, so I didn't do it.
As soon as he just whack and it just started bleeding, then he hit himself again. I was like, "Ooh, that's gonna be a not tomorrow, man." Oof.
Bro, I showed up to work like fucking Fight Club. When he comes in the office, he's like,
what the fuck happened to you?
Yeah.
Thank you, my man. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being a guest on Doing Time.
Thank you, man. It's great chopping it up with y'all.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. We're gonna see you soon. Everybody, go to his Bandcamp, cop his everything, cop his merch, cop his discs. Get familiar. But
that's right. Cop some taxidermy too. I'll hit my DM for that though.
There you go. I'm gonna need something. I want like a raccoon or something. I gotta stop running shit over.
I'll make you a Halloween mask.
There you go. Oh yeah, May 13th. Wear your costumes. Everybody, wear your costumes. May 13th.
That's right.
Highly encouraged.
Yep, I'm gonna pull up in a rabbit suit.
A dead rabbit suit made of dead rabbits.
That's right. Like Leatherface.
Again, thank you, my man.
Hey, thank you, man. Y'all have a good night, man. Be safe out there and shit. It's crazy.
You too, brother. You too. We'll see you soon.
Too, man. You too.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, Lifers Doing Time. Episode 2
Peace,
in
Lifers.
the books.
Boom.
We're
Peace,
out.
y'all.